Hi guys, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Andy Burke and today I'm just going to do a really brief analogy. So, the way I learn is actually slightly different to how you're taught at school, and I've always kind of felt and taught this. So I learn by people explaining and telling me and using analogies and using strategies, and that sticks in my head and helps me to remember and learn those strategies. So I'm going to explore one today, and today is an analogy. This is what I call the neighbour analogy. So the neighbour analogy is, if I told you that I met your neighbour Jimmy the other day, and Jimmy said, "Do you know what? Love that fella. Lovely guy. Amazing. They're so kind. They're nice. They're smiley. Look at outside their house. It's all clean. Every time I walk past, they say hello. They say good morning. The kids are so polite. We're very close in this neighbourhood, and I'm really, really glad that they moved in." You would say, "Thank you. That's a lovely story to hear." You might think about it for the rest of the day, maybe once or twice. Maybe you might think about it 10 times for the rest of the day. Would you go to sleep thinking about it? Most people, unlikely. You might. Would you think about it the next day? Unlikely. The next week? Very unlikely. The next month? Highly, highly, highly unlikely. Why? Why aren't we thinking about it? So, I'm going to give you another example of the other neighbour from across the road. So the other neighbour, Jenny, she said, "See your man over there." Terrible neighbours. Awful. They're rude. Twice I said hello to them this week, never even looked at me, ignored me. Their kids are little brats, monsters, always noisy. Look at the state of all outside. We're in a very close community here. And you know what? We prefer the like of them didn't live here. We wish they hadn't moved in. We'd rather have somebody else in here than them. Go to bed thinking about that one, would you? Would you think about it the next day? How about next week? Maybe not next month, but I imagine we're going to think about it a lot more than the positive one. So my question for you is, why? Why am I going to think about the negative and not the positive? Why is the negative going to outweigh the positive? Why is it going to beat it? And there's a very, very simple reason. And that reason we like to state is because the brain is designed to keep you safe, not make you happy. Just think about that for 1 second. The brain is designed to keep you safe, not to make you happy. So how does that work in our 24/7 world today? Your brain has decided that there's danger in that negative. So if we go back to caveman stuff, that could be a predator that could come attack. Now, Jenny is unlikely to come and attack you, but your brain is literally gone prehistoric, primitive, and gone, no, I'm going to store that negative. I'm going to store it just in case. The positive didn't pose any threat whatsoever, so we can forget about that. That's not a big deal because that's just the positive. But we don't want to forget about the negative because safety, 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 safety. That's what the brain's going with. And what I want to do with this analogy is just get us to recognise when that's happening, because it happens to us 1,000 times a week. So just to understand, why am I focusing on that negativity? And 99% of the time it's not your fault. It's the brain is designed to focus on that negativity. And if we can recognise that, we can acknowledge and we can move on from it. I hope this little story helps even a tiny bit. Perhaps you can pass it on, or you might use it for some of your own anxieties. I'm Andy Burke. Thank you so much for listening. Have a lovely day.